So, how are we feeling about the Life by You graphics these days? Since Life by You published their art dev stream, there has been a lot of chatter about the art direction that Life by You is heading in. I, for one, think that there are important points that were missed in the art dev stream in lieu of getting lost in the commotion. And today, I want to talk about some of those points in part 1 of my analysis of the art dev stream. So let's get into it. My name is Michael and welcome back to Sovereign Gaming. I've divided my analysis of the art dev stream into 2 parts because I think that there was an overwhelming amount of information that's getting lost, and I want to take the time to analyze the video very carefully. And before I begin, I want to cover a few things that may be getting misunderstood for myself. 1. I understand that this game is still in development. I have understood that Life by You is still in development, and I have approached all of my videos applying this understanding to my content. I agree that we need to let the chips fall, as the old saying goes, when it comes to the early access version of the game falling into the hands of the players. We obviously won't know what the final product will actually look like or what the final graphics will look like until we are about to receive the early access game. And so with that said, I want to leave this point with the following quote. A sign of intelligence is the ability to change your mind in the face of new facts. And this brings me to the next point that I want to briefly clear up as well. 2. Anything that is made public by the Paradox Life by You team can be discussed and responded to as it is presented to us. If we look at this from a professional perspective, no gaming studio is going to release any project details publicly without those details going through a rigorous approval process, period. In saying that, when a gaming studio publicly releases details on a project, it simply means that they are ready for the community reaction and the community feedback that surrounds said details as they are presented in the promos. Then lastly, before we get into the video, I just wanted to mention the final following point. 3. No one except for Paradox knows the full scope of the early access game. I'm having a lot of fun speculating on what we know so far about Life by You, and honestly, one additional philosophy that I've been applying to my videos is that no one except the Life by You staff actually knows what the full scope of the early access game is yet. I think that there are a lot of healthy discussions occurring on my channel and on the Reddit channel as well surrounding Life by You, but ultimately, no one except the Paradox Life by You staff have a good idea on what will end up in the players' hands come this September. Now, I don't know all of the answers, but neither does anyone else outside of the staff who likely signed an NDA agreement. I'm just analyzing, speculating, and inviting everyone for a respectful discussion on an upcoming video game based on the content that they have shown us as it is. Now let's talk graphics.
Hi everybody, this is King Choi. So I am here with Richard, and Richard, I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi everybody, my name is Richard. I am the art director for Life by You, and I've been with this team for over 3 years, I want to say. And I was the first art person to join the team, so I've been here ever since the very beginning.
One of the things that I want to kick us off with is this first question around the art development process at the start of the game development, and what was the experience coming into the team and tasked with defining the visual language of this game.
Early on, the decision was to make sure that the art style is not anything specific. We definitely know that there's other life sims out there and there's many different flavors of it, and we did not want to copy any of that. We want to distinguish ourselves, but we also know that part of the experience of a life sim is for players to eventually take the game and add their stuff to it and play it however way they want. So how we landed on the way the game looks is more of making sure that the game has enough flexibility for you to add whatever you want to it, but then also have enough of a base where when you first launched the game, there's a lot of things in there that mimics the real world, you know, like things that you'll be familiar with.
I think that they do expand upon the direction later on, but I just wanted to touch upon a very important aspect that Richard mentions here, and that part of the life simulation experience here is actually downloading custom content created by other players. I think that it is very refreshing and very telling that they actually took this into consideration when developing the Life by You game. And so to me, this is very important, and I actually don't think that they make it clear enough in this promo video, because they are designing the look of Life by You to be able to accommodate changes made by the community. They are looking at the long game here, and what I mean by that is that it seems like the Paradox Life by You team is looking to design Life by You as a game that will be able to evolve visually as time goes by beyond the base game release. If we look at another game of theirs, City Skylines, the game looks completely different now than it did 7 years ago, and a lot of that is due to player-created custom mods. Even EA had a visual journey with The Sims 4, as the game looks different now than it did when it was first released. And so what makes the whole idea of designing for player-created custom content such a groundbreaking idea here, in my opinion, is that Life by You is doing this very intentionally. Right from the beginning, Life by You has been marketed to the players that they want to give us all of the tools to customize our own playing experiences. And I guess that applies visually as well. The difference here is that it seems like Life by You is supporting this approach so that our games don't crash when a new expansion pack releases or whatnot, which is technical support that needs to be considered when doing these kind of journeys and offering players the ability to customize absolutely everything. At the end of the day, we need our games to work after all. If we look at the different custom content pieces available in The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, you can tell that there are many different types of skin sets and aesthetic styles that divert away from the original video game style. Now imagine if EA had actually built a framework that supported this level of customization. They're not designing a style that they think will be worshipped by players. They are designing a base framework that can support whatever style the community designs upon beyond the Life by You release. They are building a framework that can support tomorrow's trending style. And so maybe I'm reading a little too much into it, but that's what I get when I listen to this part multiple times. And to be fair, this is a huge risk for a gaming studio to take on such a big project, because they are banking on the community coming up with their own custom content, and that their art style should be treated more like a canvas, as they do mention later on. So with all of that said, I just want to remind you again that they have come out and been very straightforward with the fact that their art style, as it is being presented in Life by You right now, is still a work in progress. However, it's being treated more like a canvas. Anyways, let's continue watching.
That you'll be familiar with.
You know, we're cycling through some of the concept art right now. Talk me through why you went one direction versus another. Was there one specific sort of like art style that you kind of pushed for?
We kind of imagine our users to be folks that have been playing Life Sims, and they've grown up playing Life Sims. Now they want something a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what would they be expecting? And that was kind of how we approached it, where, okay, we wanted things to be a little bit more mature. We wanted to make sure that we avoid things looking too cartoony and slapstick. Paying more attention to the way they dress and how they behave. And the world should also reflect things that are a little bit more appealing to an older generation, where the buildings look a little bit more modern. The lighting is moody, can be moody, and is flexible enough to appeal to, you know, that audience that has grown up playing Life Sims.
Yeah.
I think I have shared my suspicions on this channel regarding their target demographics for this game. If I didn't say it out loud, then this clip confirms my inner suspicions of the ideal customer profile from a marketing perspective. Now, the ideal customer profile is very important to understand because it influences literally everything you do when bringing a product to market. And this is evident in that Richard explicitly tells us that they are designing Life by You to target a more mature audience and folks who have grown up playing life simulation games. They didn't say it explicitly, so I will. They are targeting an older millennial generation who grew up playing The Sims. Smart thinking, if I dare say so myself. There's nothing wrong with targeting a specific demographic with your product, so I clearly have no issue with this. But I think that the life simulation community needs to come to terms with the fact that there are now going to be more options for players to choose from. Options that we have never had made available to us. And there are going to be some options that fit us, and other options that don't. And there's really nothing wrong with that.
One of the things that you're talking about, is the look of the characters. And so can you tell me a little bit about the intent behind how you got to working with the team to get to the ways that the characters look in game right now?
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that the character can be really customized. Like you can really create whatever you want, how the character looks, whether it's mimicked after yourself or maybe someone famous. We wanted to make sure that the one thing that we focused a lot on is having enough of the controls that will let you go in and customize every little part of the character. From all the facial features to your body proportions, and then to make sure that the character is realistic looking, but not to a point where we're reaching that
uncanny valley.
Yeah, the uncanny valley where you see, every little piece of detail. Mm-hmm. So there's a fine balance in there where we're trying to strike, but that doesn't mean that the users can't later on go in and, if whatever they want to do to the character, they can. If they want to create a cartoony looking character with anime proportions, that our game is there to facilitate that as well.
I played with those sliders and the customization details on various physical features. Yes, you can go to that extreme if you want to.
You can, yes, absolutely.
I think that what the community really wanted was to learn more about what's next in the character design development of the Life by You humans, and that ultimately this question doesn't really get answered in this video. It's great that they are taking a completely new direction with Life by You, being a game that is more focused on creating an unparalleled opportunity to customize your entire playing experience, but I think that what a lot of players were hoping and expecting to hear was what was next in the character development, as opposed to learning about the philosophy behind the direction they took. That was my take on it anyways. Let's continue watching.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about the world that these characters exist in, and the world that we're launching with early access is a beachside town. Can you talk a little bit about the aesthetics about this town and how the team and you got to creating this world as the world that we're launching?
The role that we settled on, definitely a lot of it is we wanted to make an environment where you have all your characters go about their lives, but in a sunny, bright, happy, kind of playful place. And the thought of having a beachside town is very casual, and it seems like that would be a great place to have a small town. And it allowed us to have a lot of activities. You can hang out in the beach and have fun, but then also we can lay out a nice little town next to it that can be kind of quaint and cute. Another part of the town, if you go a little bit deeper, you can cross the bridge and there's another section of it. So we have a little bit of everything. We have, the beach side, we have kind of the vineyards up in the top, and then we have some foresty areas where you can do some scenic drives. So there's enough space for users to kind of make, if they want to customize their town, they can make any type of town they want.
One of the things is that I keep playing the game with the new builds that we are constantly pushing out during the development process, stress testing the game. What is surprising to me and what delights me a lot is the open worldness of it, not only by way of the sprawling real estate that you get to play with and customize, but it's also because of the fact we are an open world and that we don't have rabbit holes, that there's a lot of businesses and like there's boutiques,
right.
The market. What has been kind of like the thing in designing all of these different environments and designing the art style itself? What's been sort of keeping you up at night? What are things that have been stressor points for you in defining the visual language for this game?
The thing that is the most challenging, and as you brought up just now with the rabbit holes, that is if you wanted to make a town feel dense.
Yeah.
That is one of the tricks that a lot of other games have done, is to make buildings that don't actually do anything. And that was something that we thought about, but in the end, like if it doesn't have any functionality, it doesn't affect gameplay, we didn't want to put it in. So the thing that made it challenging is to be able to make sure that the town feels lived in, and it had all the things that made it feel like a functioning town.
Yeah.
It had shops, it had workplaces, it had residential houses that are lived in by the NPCs, and they travel, to and fro, living their lives, and to make that feel real and not where they drive off somewhere and then they just disappear.
Yeah, it's not a soundstage.
It's not a soundstage. If you wanted to become that NPC and live that life and follow him through his path, you're able to do that.
Throughout my coverage of Life by You, I've been very consistent about questioning how urban density is represented in Life by You. I found a point of reassurance in this part of the art dev, in that they are reinforcing that if a building doesn't have a function, like shells or rabbit holes, then it doesn't get designed in the game. This is interesting to me because they aren't confirming or denying that denser buildings are available, and my suspicion is that maybe denser buildings are still in development and that they don't want to release any information at this time prematurely. Let's continue. This will be all of the footage that I want to cover for today, but I thought it was super important to repeat that the emphasis on the art direction is to create a canvas for players to tell their own stories from. Paradox has also repeated publicly many times that the graphics are still a work in progress and in development up until early access release and beyond. I will commend Paradox with taking a huge risk with approaching their art direction with more of an open canvas philosophy, since life simulation players are more used to having the canvas somewhat filled in, if I continue with that analogy. Do I think it will pay off? I honestly do. But I don't think it will pay off right away. Rather, it will pay off when player-made custom content starts becoming available to us. That's my prediction anyways. And like I mentioned before, and like Paradox has mentioned before as well, Life by You is still a work in progress and it is still in development. They've communicated on multiple occasions that the look and feel of the Life by You humans is still in development and evolving. I, for one, will reserve judgment on the graphics until the early access version is in my hands, since I know that things could change from now until September, as I value the gameplay more than graphics as well. On the flip side, I can also see and respect the opinion of others that are turned off by the graphics, and won't want to purchase the game because of this. There's really no wrong answer here, as not every game is going to be everyone's cup of tea. On a side note, if you have ever wanted to bear witness to the impacts of a textbook disruptor on the marketplace, well, you've got first row seats. If there's one fact that I am walking away with from this first part of my analysis, it's that Paradox's Life by You is taking action to segment the life simulation gamer community. And I've gotta say, I'm getting the popcorn ready for this show. But what do you think about the art style being presented to us as more of a canvas? Do you think that this is the correct direction to take when marketing to a more mature demographic? Do you think that they need to release more videos on the evolution of the graphics, or more insights as to where they want to take their graphics or that evolution? Do you value gameplay over graphics or vice versa? Again, feel free to sound off in the comments below. There's really no wrong answer. I just ask that you be respectful. And until next time, I just want to thank you again for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then feel free to like and subscribe for more. And be on the lookout for part 2 being published in the near future. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.